Oh, that's so annoying. Classic. Sorry again. I'm not. Yeah, maybe it's because I'm streaming in the morning and there's other stuff happening on the network at this time. Um, yeah, it's cut out twice, I think, today. But thank you for that compliment. Um, what one? So there's a YouTuber, like a Minecraft YouTuber that I follow, and he's got a really sort of excellent media voice, I think. But if you go back to his old content, he sounds completely different. And I think he makes a comment on one of his videos about that, and he says that yeah, as he kept going, he just got more and more used to what his voice sounded like recorded, and more comfortable with it. So yeah, it is a big deal. I might even have to. Oh yeah, there we go. Might even have to look up and see what people do to improve or to manage their voice when they have to use it a lot um, for content creation. And do they change it? I don't know if you're familiar with chess at all, but there was a recent chess drama with Hans Niemann, and I think it's all resolved now, which is good because it was all a bit ridiculous. But one of the comments that people made, completely conspiracy theory type comment, but if you look at his really old content, he has, I believe, a very pronounced American accent, and I think it's a I could be completely wrong about this, but I think it's a more southern state um, American accent, I think. And as he progresses in his career, his voice changes completely, his accent changes completely to a more European accent, um, which is really interesting. But it kind of makes sense though, because if you're a chess player, like a pro chess player, you're probably traveling a lot to various parts of the world, and you're doing that from when you're very young. So your accent's probably going to be heavily influenced by, a lot of different cultures. And a lot of pro chess players that start off very young don't take school as seriously as the average person, so they don't actually really go to school. Some of them, um, and you probably start hanging around with more mature people from different cultures, and picking a lot of stuff up from them. But yeah, I think people were trying to suggest that he was a different person or something, like literally a robot or something. I don't know, some ridiculous nonsense. Yeah, thanks for the compliment there. And I'm sorry for the stream quality as well. concentration of it there. Yeah, I think it's a thing with yeah, with race car drivers as well, where they'll come up with all sorts of pathological reasons why they lose. Um, yes, and poker as well. Actually, anything that's a super intense game and it can go on for a long time, and whenever there's an aspect of tilt, usually it's sports or games where there's not actually that much physical activity, um, and you're just sort of sitting there and hyper focus on something. They all those sports, they're just ridiculous excuses. Like even golf, like the most minuscule thing can put someone off. One of my favorite clips, like movie scenes, is Jackass. I think the original Jackass. They went to a golf course. And they start blowing air horns at the golfers. Oh, they get so triggered by that. It's quite funny. I mean, I know the feeling, you know, like with golf especially. Once you get on tilt, you just don't come back. I mean, it is annoying. It's pretty brutal, but yeah. So we'll go for a running R2 here. I don't think running R2 will work here. I think he recovers a bit too fast. Alright. I did commit myself to not trying to hit when he bites me like that, but yeah, I have to remember that. So this is two R1s if you can catch them fast enough. Ooh, three. That's good to know. Running R2 here, actually, I'm quite close. Yeah, just back away. Stupid tail, I don't want to die to it. That's a shame, because this is a real punish window here. Like even hesitated, almost got a second hit. Definitely have to keep that in mind. Feels like I consistently always dodge that one particular swipe way too late. Okay, so this could be really dangerous actually, because I think I'm quite close to the wall. I'm right. I'll read your comments soon. It's a bit stressful. Nice. Let's see if we can go for 3 again. Sweet. That's a decent chunk of damage. Oh, you mean like spectators of the sport? Oh wow, that's weird. I feel as though that probably... Huh. Oh yeah, yeah, so... I mean, whenever I go down to the driving range, if the dude in the little armored cart goes out to, you know, pick up the balls, like suck up the balls, try and hit it, but no, I'll have to look. I don't think I've ever seen anyone deliberately get hit with a golf ball. I think I saw someone, I don't know who it was, but I think I saw someone tee up a golf ball in someone else's mouth and hit it. That was a bit ridiculous. But yeah, well, someone lost an eye. I can definitely, like if you slice it with one of those massive drivers, Like if you, and I'm sure even pros fuck up sometimes. Yeah, I can imagine it'd be pretty dangerous. Um, I know that, you know, like houses that are by golf courses are usually super luxury, but I know that it's a problem for them always having their windows smashed. Like it is a thing. And like, you know, if you ever have people like me on a golf course, it's gonna happen, right? Anywhere but the hole, basically. But yeah, that's crazy. I hadn't heard about the eye thing. I can definitely see that though. That would suck. I guess it's a little bit like old school rally driving. Um, that's pretty stupid. Um, I can't imagine myself doing that. That was a bit of a weird attack. Okay, so this will be... Oh, his laser attack, okay, so gotta be careful here. So close. Yeah, I thought you could hit that twice. The running R2 does a lot of damage. Try again here, actually, because I can't get two R1s here normally. Okay, so it looks like I just can't even get a running R2. I'm not supposed to hit that. That's right. This is an ugly position. It's not good. Yeah, okay. That's right. Oh yeah, drag races are nuts. Especially, I'd love to go see, because they do it here. I'd love to go see Top Fuel Draxes. Apparently, the noise it makes is insane, and it shakes the ground as well. Um, yeah, like if you're right, with basketball, if you're right, usually behind the net, right, behind the hoop. Um, I've definitely seen videos of people getting dunked on by people. I think in rugby as well, there's a lot of like spectators, not so much, but there's a lot of press that will, and maybe it's American. They do this in American football as well, but right behind the try zone or the try line and the end zone, there'll be media like press people, and they sometimes get flattened by rugby players. Sometimes in the corners as well. Um, and that'd suck too. Like I've hit myself. Like I've been hit by a camera before, and it hurts. Like they're pretty solid. I wouldn't want to land on one, and they'd be expensive as well. Like the camera person probably wouldn't be happy with it. But oops, I already left on. Hockey would be a lot of fun though. I'd love to. If I ever go to Canada or the US, I'll have to line up a hockey game, an NHL game, because that'd be amazing, I reckon. They're just belting each other. That was super close. Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand the fist fighting in hockey. Yeah, is it just straight up fine to do that? Because there seems to be a lot of scuffles. I know, like if you're familiar with rugby league, um, state of origin, um, where you probably like if you're not from Australia, you probably wouldn't know what that is. But there's a two states in Australia that are particularly keen on this game, rugby league, and once a year they'll do a series of games called the State of Origin, where um, the the state level players, well, I guess they'd be national level players in a way, um, from those two particular states will play a series of games. And back in the day, I think it used to be a lot more accepted that there'd be a lot of fighting, and it used to be part of the culture of it. A little bit like how with football. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, but like a no mean to offend, um, but with football in parts of Europe, I don't know if it is the case anymore, but my understanding that it's part of the culture to um, play a little bit dodgy, like cheat or throw and stuff like that. It might be more of a South American thing. I'm not actually sure, um, but yeah, similar deal with this particular series of rugby in Australia. It used to be that they'd throw a lot of the conduct rules just out the window for it. But yeah, NHL, the hockey, I think they're just allowed to punch on. I think they're just allowed to throw hands. Um, right? Which is pretty crazy. Like, I'd be keen to learn why that's a part of the culture of that game. Oops. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Um, mm. And there's probably a case with a lot of games. Because it's like, yeah, they have the video refs, but they just have cameras at every single possible angle. Um, they just see absolutely everything. Which is good because I don't think, even from a like drama perspective, if that's why they were doing it for the spectacle of it, like if you're familiar with WWE wrestling, which is obviously all scripted, but part of the scripting is to make it more dramatic with breaking the rules. Um, and with WWE, obviously, it's not an actual sport per se. So they even today, I think they, not that I've watched it in a decade, but even today, I think they mess around with that kind of thing where someone will do something illicit, um, and they'll still show it on the camera, but the ref doesn't see it. It's just classic. It's part of the drama. So I'm wondering if like NHL where they fight, and rugby league to some extent sometimes as well, when it was allowed and when they were diving. I wonder if it was also part of the spectacle and not just a strap. Um, talk about diving. So you're talking about the southern European countries? Um, I assume so. I don't really know too much about the various football leagues. Even like it's pretty big in Australia. The what do they call it? I should know this. I think I know someone that's on the Brisbane team, my home team. But yeah, we have a league here, and yeah, I don't know too much about it even here. Oh, yep, I see. Well, you know, I mean, technically, the South American countries were. Well, actually, that's probably a bit. I'm not going to say that actually. But I wonder, like, I'd be really keen. I don't know too many South Americans, but I wonder how much of their culture is influenced by, you know, Spanish, Portuguese culture. Um, I'd be keen to learn. Yeah, I know Argentina definitely takes its sport very seriously. The one sport that I do kind of follow, rugby union, they're big into that as well. Um, I think they're really putting Australia to shame too, honestly. The last, I want to say, 5, maybe 10 years, it's been really difficult to get behind Australian rugby. Um, it's just been a bit of a joke, honestly. Um, I have a bit of a theory about why that is. Um, well, actually, this is a combo breath attack. When I went to university, I tutored at the residential colleges, and that's where a lot of your rugby players are going to come from. Um, and they had a massive drinking culture. And that's what I suspect it is. I don't know whether, um, like physically speaking, the Australian team just is not as impressive as, say, the South African or the New Zealand the team. And these days, even the Argentinian team, which doesn't have as much of a pedigree of playing um, rugby union as frequently as those other three countries I just mentioned, um, definitely starting to overtake the performance of the Australians, um, which is a shame. That was a mistake. Got rewarded for playing like an idiot though. Oop, there we go. I'll have to read your comments soon. Um, I tried to read it during that breath attack, but there's just a lot going on in this fight. Let me know if the audio is still a little bit low, or high. Sorry, if the game audio is too loud. See, I feel as though the boss fights are just so much louder than the regular game. Right. Should be able to feel here. There are some bosses like Dancer where you can take advantage of when they're doing nothing, like Midir was just there. But I really don't think Midir is one of those bosses where you can do that. Like you just get free hits with some bosses. Yeah. So I think this is the R2 one. But the one he just did before, so he's got a 3-hit combo and a 4-hit combo. And I think the, okay, that's good. I think the 4-hit combo, you can 2R1, the 3-hit one, you can 1R2. I think that's the deal. Okay, so let's... the Germans. Yeah, fair enough. Um, Germany did quite well in a recent-ish World Cup, didn't they? I think not, maybe not the last one, but the one before. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I used to be into a lot of sports. Uh, Not many of the people I know go to watch live games. My brother does, but he never invites me. I have to force him to, because I'd be keen to go. Um, I prefer to watch them live, I think, rather than on television. Um, just because, like, if like rugby union is an 80-minute game, typically with about 10 minutes of timeout or overtime, and then you have 10 or 15 minutes for halftime. So, watching a whole game is like watching a movie, and especially with the Australian team, like I don't want to be a fair weather friend, but just the respect I have for Australian rugby union has really depreciated. Um, Pretty much, I was in high school and early uni about 10 years ago, and that's when they were at their peak. And I honestly think some of us, like a subsection of Australian rugby, was probably the best in the world. Not just from a objective technical point of view, but from an excitement point of view. Like they played really exciting games, um, but then they just fell off um, after that. I think what happened with, because it was my particular state that was very good at it, and what happened was a few of the key players ended up going to prison or being charged with various offences. Um, and from there, it kind of fell apart. And what happened was because of that, because the team diminished, um, what happened was a few of the other key players ended up just going overseas because the money was better. Quite a lot of support dipped after that happened. Yeah, I think a couple of players ended up dropping for criminal reasons, which is really a shame. And it was silly stuff too. It was theft. I think it was theft and assault, which makes no sense. Like, rugby players are well paid. Like they're well paid, and the amount of opportunity you have for further income through endorsements and so forth is just huge, especially with social media. Like, I just don't understand. But yeah, one of them was done for theft and never played again, and he was excellent. And I think another one was done for assault. Um, and after that, yeah, a bunch of players left, and it kind of went down the trash heap after that, in my opinion. Um, Cricket, if I'm with mates, I sometimes have watched the Boxing Day test between Australia and India. That's usually pretty exciting. I think it's more of a, like, in boxing, how you have exhibition matches. I always feel as though the Boxing Day test is a bit of an exhibition where you get these big scores and it gets super tense, and it's probably doctored a little bit. Um, like their players might be incentivized to make it a bit of a spectacle, and that's great. Um, um, yeah, they won in 2016. I thought so. I thought so. Chile's football captain got a DUI. Um, yeah, it's interesting. I think not so much rugby union, but rugby league, which is a different code. It's more of a Rugby league is more of an Australian-based game than rugby union. Not many other countries play rugby league. New Zealand and England do a bit, but they're not very good, in my opinion. But rugby league has a really bad reputation, um, going back decades, where a lot of the players were very poorly behaved and did some fairly reprehensible things, and weren't punished for it. It was just part of the culture, and I'm talking like serious, serious business. Like I won't mention exactly what it is. You could probably find out, rugby league criminals, and you'll find a few of them. But I want to say probably in the last 10 years, they've really taken that stuff seriously, and even to this day, rugby league players are getting sent to prison for pretty serious offences. Um, yeah, so I don't know. I think they probably do get, like, they probably are happy to sweep under the rug certain things, but there's a really big kind of, in the last few years, a big image shift for a lot of sport in Australia, and that's not just rugby league as well. I think cricket too. There was one thing that happened with cricket. One Australia's captain and probably a very, I would say, one of the more well-respected national players, um, cheated at a test level, and they were caught out for cheating, and that's a big deal. Like, we're not talking about state league games. We're talking about probably the highest paid. Like, it's basically football players. In terms of successful Australian sports people, cricket players probably quite up, like heavy up there. And yeah, they were done cheating. They had sandpaper and they were sandpapering the cricket balls, which allows you to mess around with how it bounces. Because a cricket ball is basically a big lump of leather, um, and yeah, they were doing that and they got done for it. And I think they both took a suspension, but maybe not the captain because he knew about it. Um, but the other guy, he was doing it regularly, and yeah, I don't know. I think he probably like he was a representative of the country, and it'd be like cheating in the football World Cup. It'd be like that effectively. That's what this guy was doing, and yeah, he should have been done. I think lifetime ban, heavy fine. It's just a disgrace, in my opinion. Um, cricket, you don't associate it with that kind of behavior. It's not normal. Like that was a big deal. And yeah, they just swept it right under the rug. He copped a suspension and now he's playing again. I'm pretty sure both of them are. Um, Ridiculous. They yeah, yeah. There's a lot of different sports we play here. I think if you're a sports fan and you're ever planning a trip to Australia, probably go to Melbourne. Um, and they love sport in Melbourne. They have a stadium for every different type of sport, and there'll be a game on all the time. They build their public infrastructure around making it easy to go see games, like public transport and so forth. And eating out as well in Melbourne is really easy. It's just perfect for it. I don't live in Melbourne. I don't particularly like people from Melbourne, but yeah, it's good. No, I haven't. So 2004 football World Cup. I'll just have a look on Google. I didn't realize that North Korea played in the FIFA World Cup or any kind of sport. What is this? Oh, 2002. They bribed all the refs. Yeah, I'll have a watch. I'm gonna have some breakfast now. I'll probably end stream. Um, yeah, I've just opened that. I'll have a look at that. When South Korea wrote World Cup history in 2002. What a good title. Yeah, I'll have a watch of that. All right, well, I'm gonna finish there. Yeah, and I'll probably end up trying to set a schedule to stream again in the week, and then the weekend as well, and finish off Midir. This hasn't been the best stream, I don't think, for attempts, but not bad. But yeah, just not playing super consistently. This boss requires a lot of respect and patience, I think, because it's just a long fight. So yeah, I think I'll have to practice by myself a little bit and get some of the mechanics down pat where I can just focus, and then come back to stream, learn phase two. Hopefully, be exciting. Yeah, yeah, there were a couple of good tries. It was better than like I spent an hour yesterday doing it. I think I got to phase two once, so definitely better this time. And yeah, keen to learn the ballistic laser attack for phase two. That'll be really exciting to learn, I reckon. But yeah, bit of a way off. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your evening. I assume it's evening for you. And yeah, we'll catch you in the next one.